Hello, and welcome to Chapter 3, the final chapter of this grammar course. I am delighted to welcome you back, and I look forward to concluding this journey with you. Before moving on to today's topic on subject-verb agreement, let's review the last lesson of Chapter 2 on the third conditional. The third conditional is used to talk about situation that didn't happen in the past and to imagine their results if they had happened. For example, if I had moved to Spain, I would have spoken Spanish by now. We often use the third conditional to express regrets about things that did or did not happen. I would have become an actress if my parents hadn't forced me to go to law school. To form the third conditional, we use two clauses. The subordinating, sometimes called if clause, which we use with a conjunction and the past perfect tense, and the main clause of a sentence with the auxiliary verb would or wouldn't have, plus the past participle. If they hadn't left the party, they would have missed the bus. As with all conditionals, it is possible to invert the order of the subordinate and main clauses without changing the meaning of the sentence. You wouldn't have met Dan if you hadn't gone to the party. If you hadn't gone to the party, you wouldn't have met Dan. Similar to the second conditional, we can replace the auxiliary verb would with could. If they had danced better, they could have won the competition. All right, time for practice. Can you put these sentences in order? If you had bought milk, I could have made pancakes. Notice how the conjunction if is capitalized. The I is capitalized. Therefore, it must be at the beginning of the sentence. What's more, milk is followed by a comma. That is a clue indicating that the subordinating clause is at the beginning of the sentence. Otherwise, there wouldn't be a comma at all. I would have traveled around Europe if I hadn't been able to afford a car. If he had given her his phone number, she could have called him. If you had sold more art, we would have bought a bigger house. You would have had more experience if you've done an internship. Fantastic! Time to move on to our lesson on subject-verb agreement. We have already had some insight into subject-verb agreement throughout our lessons on tenses in Chapter 2. As you know, singular subjects go with singular verbs, and plural subjects go with plural verbs. With singular nouns or pronouns he, she, it, the verb has to have an S at the end of its present tense form, like runs, jumps, eats. And it uses auxiliary verbs which end in S, such as is, was, has, does. For example, Laura loves eating pancakes on Sundays. She makes them herself. With plural nouns, or the pronouns we, you, they, we do not add an S and use plural verbs such as run, jump, eat, and auxiliary verbs like are, were, have, do. For example, the women meet for coffee every week. They talk about politics. What can be tricky for both English learners and native speakers alike is correctly identifying the subject of a verb in a sentence. For example, the quality of their cars has increased. We use the singular auxiliary verb has because the verb has increased agrees with the subject quality. Cars is not the subject of the sentence. Subordinating or relative clauses or phrases that are used between the subject and the verb do not affect the subject-verb agreement. The colors of that rainbow are very bright. The rat, who has been chewing all my wires, is very fast. Of that rainbow and who has been chewing all my wires do not affect the subject-verb agreement between colors and the verb are and the subject rat with the verb is. When a sentence starts with here or there, the subject is placed after the verb, which is quite the exception. Here is the money you asked for. There are too many men in this club. Similarly, in questions, the subject generally comes after the main or auxiliary verb. What is the name of this song? Where are your friends? Let's practice. Can you identify the subject of the main verb and pick its conjugation? The tires of her car need to be changed. Tires is a plural noun. Therefore, we need a plural verb form. The photo on page 8 of these magazines is beautiful. Photo is the subject, not magazines, and it is singular. Therefore, we use a singular verb ending with S. The sheets on her bed are clean. We must agree the verb to be with the plural noun sheets, which is the subject of the sentence. The smell coming from those kebabs is enticing. The message in his songs is always about love. The themes in his book teach us valuable lessons. Where are the pieces of the puzzle? Great work! Now that you are more practiced on identifying the subject of a verb and sentence, let's study some particular rules when it comes to subject-verb agreement. When a subject is composed of two nouns or pronouns connected by and, we use a plural verb. My watch and computer are broken. My brothers and sisters have names that start with M. There is an exception though. When two nouns are joined together to form one idea, then the verb is singular. Fish and chips is a delicious meal. Bread and butter costs $2. With collective nouns, using a singular or plural verb will depend on whether we are considering the subject as an entity or group or as individuals. For example, the cast of Hamilton is working hard. We are considering the actors in the play as a collective unit, as one cast, one group of people. In the second example, the cast of Hamilton are working hard. Here, the emphasis is on each individual member, not just the cast as a whole. Another example, my family comes from France. Here the emphasis is on the group, on the collective unit. The audience were demanding an encore. Here, once again, the emphasis is on the individuals in the audience. It's interesting to note that in American English, we generally just use singular verbs with collective nouns, not plural ones. Nouns that are always plural because they have two parts, Nouns that are always plural because they have two parts, such as scissors, glasses, pants, jeans, headphones. These nouns always require a plural verb. My glasses are red. Her pants were shrunk in the washing machine. Pants is a noun in two parts because it has two legs. Glasses is a noun with two parts because it fits two eyes. There is an exception to this rule when we talk about these objects or nouns as a pair. Careful, this pair of scissors is really sharp. This is my favorite pair of pants. Next, with the determiners or pronouns, each, anybody, every, nobody, one of, each of, no, we always use singular verbs. Every girl in my class has a designer handbag. Even though we are referring to a group of girls, to many girls, with the determiner every, we use a singular verb. Nobody is punished at this school. A singular noun or pronoun which is linked to a phrase or group of nouns, generally introduced by words like with, like, as well as, is followed by singular verb. Mrs. Putman, as well as the other teachers at the school, is going on strike. The verb to be agrees with the subject Mrs. Putman and not the other teachers. Another example, Joshua, like us, is going to the concert. Amounts, even if plural, require a singular verb. $15 is too expensive for this shirt. 20 minutes is enough to present the project. What's more, the title of books, movies, novels, and other similar works are considered as a singular subject and therefore require a singular verb. Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets is my favorite book of the series. Friends is a great TV show. All right, time for practice. Can you fill in the gap with the correct verb form? Nobody is happy with his decision. My favorite pair of glasses is missing. Pizza and pasta are my favorite meals. Pizza and pasta are not considered one idea, but are simply two nouns linked by the conjunction and. Each of my friends has the same bracelet. Anybody is allowed into this library. Those scissors don't work anymore. This pair of jeans doesn't fit me anymore. The price of these rings keeps changing. The subject of this verb is the price, not rings. Therefore, it requires a singular verb. Love and Other Drugs is a great movie. A gin and tonic is my favorite cocktail. Gin and tonic form one idea, one cocktail. Therefore, it requires a singular verb. "70 kilograms is above my recommended weight." Jamie, with her family, is going to Italy over the summer. A group of girls is walking our way. Two cups of flour is enough to make pancakes. Victor, along with his brothers, loves playing football. $300 isn't enough to pay rent. Great work! Now a few more rules to look into on subject-verb agreement. When singular nouns are joined by or, nor, neither nor, either or, not only, but also, we must use singular verbs. For example, Neither my cousin nor my aunt likes dancing. Either the tiger or the lion has had a baby last week. When plural nouns are joined by these expressions, or, nor, neither nor, either or, both and, all but, we must use plural verbs. Either the mice or the raccoons have eaten the trash. All but Maria are going to the restaurant. Finally, when a compound subject is joined by or, nor, neither nor, either or, not only but also, and contains a singular and a plural noun or pronoun, the verb should agree with the subject closest to the verb. For example, the boys or their father does the dishes after dinner. The boys is plural. Father is singular. The verb do is closest to the subject father. Therefore, we use its singular form. In the second example, the dog or the cats get the most attention. Cats is a plural noun and is closest to the main verb get. Therefore, we agree get with the subject cats. Practice time. Which sentence is correct? Neither my parents nor my brother have tried the chocolate I brought home. Neither my parents nor my brother has tried the chocolate I brought home. The second sentence is correct. We have a plural noun, parents, and a singular noun, brother. Brother is closest to the verb has tried, and therefore agrees with it. Both the football players and the cheerleaders are going to the game. Both the football players and the cheerleaders is going to the game. The first sentence is correct. We have plural nouns joined by the conjunction and. Therefore, the verb must agree and must be plural. Kevin, with Josie, is visiting Madrid this weekend. Kevin, with Josie, are visiting Madrid this weekend. The first sentence is correct. The director nor the producer know about the missing jewelry. The director nor the producer knows about the missing jewelry. The second sentence is correct. Neither the monkeys nor the panda have escaped from the zoo. Neither the monkeys nor the panda has escaped from the zoo. The second sentence is correct. The verb escaped agrees with the subject panda and therefore uses a singular auxiliary verb, has. Well done! Now we can move on to our task-based activity. Here is an extract from a CNN article on Anthony Bourdain, a famous chef and documentarian. We will read the text together. Then you will have 3 minutes to identify the subject of each verb highlighted and determine whether it is singular or plural. So first, let's read together. Anthony Bourdain was a gifted chef and storyteller. His globe-trotting career led him to share noodles with former President Barack Obama in Vietnam, try pig brains and blood in Thailand, and eat beaver in Quebec, which he said tasted like chicken. His body of work, including memoirs, travel shows, and cookbooks, was as expansive as his appetite. The film Roadrunner, a film about Anthony Bourdain, takes a look at his complex life and extensive legacy. It premieres on CNN this spring. As we wait for the documentary, this is a chance to open up Bourdain's Appetites, a cookbook, and dive into some of the beloved travel documentarian's favorite dishes. All right, you have 3 minutes. Can you identify the subject of these verbs and determine if it is singular or plural? Time's up! Now there are 5 singular subjects that agree with singular verbs. Anthony Bourdain was. His body of work was. The film takes. It premieres. Is a chance. Notice in this one how the subject is after the verb it agrees with. And we have one instance of a plural subject that agrees with the plural verb. We wait. Great job on this activity. Now let's move on to review. Nouns or pronouns connected by and require a plural verb. My dress and coat are red. Except when the 2 nouns form one idea. Spaghetti and meatballs is my favorite dish. Collective nouns can be followed by either singular or plural nouns. The basketball team is winning. Nouns that have 2 parts always need a plural verb. These pants are too tight. Except when we refer to them as a pair. This pair of binoculars is incredible. After the expressions each, anybody, every, nobody, one of, each of, no, we always use singular verbs. Each member of my family is left-handed. A singular noun or pronoun, which is linked to a phrase or group of nouns and is generally introduced by with, like, as well as, is followed by a singular verb. Sammy, like Laura and I, loves pancakes. Amounts require singular verbs. $13 is the price of that cake. The title of books, movies, novels, and other similar works also require a singular verb. Peaky Blinders is a popular British TV show. And with the expressions or, nor, neither nor, either or, not only, but also, when these expressions join 2 singular nouns, then we use singular verbs. Josh or Laura likes white chocolate. When these expressions join plural nouns, then we use plural verbs. Both my parents and my grandparents travel to Spain every year. When a compound subject joined by these expressions contains a singular and plural noun or pronoun, the verb should agree with the subject closest to the verb. Neither my cat nor my 2 dogs like vegetables. And that concludes our review and our lesson on subject-verb agreements. Wonderful job today, and see you soon.